what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of the games, and I'm going to kind of tell you a bit more kind of about whether I'm excited about it. I'm going to rank them in terms of what I'm most likely to play. And we'll just have a little fun with that. So first things first, going in alphabetical order, we have Core Keeper. Now this one I was already very, very excited about. It is an open world game. It is a sandbox game. It's a crafting game. All the tags are very relevant. It's been on my wish list for some time. It's got, let me see, I'm going to guess, yeah, Steam Deck verified, so that suits this guy as an owner of a Steam Deck. I'm going to stick this right at the top. I don't know about number one. Yeah, do you know what? I think it's number one. I think this is the one I've been most excited about in terms of the ones they've announced. And yeah, this is right up my street. This is, mining, crafting. Looks relatively chill, but it looks like it's got a bit of combat, a bit like Stardew or similar games. So I'm excited about that. So yeah, that's going to go right at the top for me. That's a worthwhile one. Look, I mean, if you were to buy it right now, even on sale, it's 10 quid. So that's your 35. That's about a third of it taken care of right there. Next, we're moving on to Dungeons of Hinterberg. Now, this is one I've had for a little while, actually. I bought this a couple of months ago. And I completely. It's not even that I completely forgot about it. It was just one of those games that got bought as part of. I thought bought it as part of three or four in a purchasing spree. Or did I get it in a bundle? Maybe I got it in a humble bundle. In any case, it looks cool. It's got a kind of puzzle solving, some battle again, some combat. It looks like a kind of more of an adventure experience, but got some. It's got tag of relaxing, which suggests to me that it's not going to be a kind of Hades style absolute monster show, which is good because you know that could be all sorts of fun and games. Now let's see, where is this gonna place in my rankings? I'm gonna stick it in the top. I think it's in the top five. I think it's going to be. Um, Maybe the solution here is not to number them in order of which ones I'm most hyped for. Let me just give it like a hype score, an excitement score out of 10 that it's in the bundle. How's that? Yeah, we'll do that. So Core Keeper 10, like straight away 10. I'm going to stick Dungeons of Hinterberg at an 8. I think it's got kind of a little bit of a Zelda-y vibe, and I like that. I dig it. So next we have Gatekeeper. Now, Gatekeeper I don't know anything about, but straight away I'm getting Hades kind of vibes. I'm getting what is that game? Dreamscaper. I really like that game. I'm getting a little bit of that vibe, that kind of top-down, isometric. Does look a little bit fast-paced for my old man tastes, but I think it will be good. It looks cool. I mean, it looks fun. I suspect I will definitely play this one. Um, I think it looks like a laugh. And it's given me some discounts on other games. What's not to like? Yep, two friends already own this game. One of them, of course, he does. Um, but yeah, I think it looks. I think it looks neat. It's got that kind of roguey element to it. The design's really cool. Yeah, you know what? I think that's another 8. And let's talk about it again. So 12.99. So already, let me go back to Dungeons of Hinterberg because I actually missed that off. So 20 quid. So already, those three games are to buy separately would be more than the cost of the Jingle Jam bundle for £35. Ixion. Now this one intrigues me. So I have had a little bit of a preemptive scout, and this looks like it could be right up my street, but it could also be one where I'm like, oh, it looks like I'll like it and then I'll bounce hard off it. Um, it's going to be hard for me to stick that in a kind of excitement score of over 9 because it does look like something I could easily accidentally bounce off, just because it's could be quite involved. Looking at some of the bits, but it's got some, you know, it's got some encouraging signs that say it might be kind of base buildery. It says city builder in the tag, so that's encouraging. I'm going to stick that at 7, with the caveat that, you know, it might not quite be what I want. But I mean, the retail price is 30 quid. So, you know, again, we're up to quite a lot of value already. It's a lot of bang for your buck. So, this one, I'm really not sure. It looks very, what's the word? It's got a lot of personality, very clearly, but I don't know whether this is just going to be one of those things that doesn't interest me in the slightest once I actually start playing it. It doesn't. I don't get a clear sense of what kind of game it is. Whether it's just like a first-person kind of walking sim. I really don't know. Follow the lives of the crew as they weather starvation, isolation, and each other. Yeah, I really don't know. I'm going to stick it. I'm going to stick it as a 6. It could be like you know, the equivalent of a sleeper hit, but it's really hard to say. Next, this is one I'm not going to struggle to. Oh, actually, before we do that, let's go back to mouthwashing and just work out how much it would. 10.99. So roughly quick kind of cigarette packet maths. I think we're up to sort of 100 or so ish. Certainly, what I think we'll get to a couple of hundred by the end. Old World. This looks fully up my street. It's got right away 3 things jump out at me in terms of games it reminds me of in a fond way. Crusader Kings 3, which I started playing a couple of months ago and quite liked. Rise of Nations, which I played a ton of back in the day and loved, and Civ, which I also played a ton of. This is the kind of game I could really get heavy into, and you could end up seeing very little of me in any other respect for the rest of Jingle Jam. I'm going to stick this at a 9 because it's not quite as exciting to me as Core Keeper, but at the same time, I think this could really be my sort of jam. My sort of Jingle Jam, if you like. And with a retail price of, okay, at the moment it's £9, but, you know, normally it's 35. So it's really hard to say. It's hard to put a value on it right this second. Now, speaking of things I was excited about, and actually this is one off my wish list, Rogue Waters. So, Rogue Waters I'm very excited about because I love pirates as a gaming theme. I don't like being in the water myself. Like Sea of Thieves kind of makes me a little bit like uncomfortable. I'm not sure why. I know it's me. But it's a roguelite. It's a pirate game. It's tactical and it's turn-based. These are all things I really, really love in games. And with a pirate theme on top, like that could really, 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 really do it for me. So that's normally 12.50 to 25 quid. I'm going to stick this in at a 9. Actually, no, I'm going to stick it in at 10. I'm so excited for this one, to play this one, because, like I say, it's been on my wish list for ages, and just never quite hit a price I wanted to kind of jam on. And actually, had it been, yeah, I think, you know what, like it was just, I think last time I saw it, it was just a bit more expensive than this, and I was like, no, not quite. But as part of a bundle, let's have it. Let's do it. Right. The Royal Writ. So this is a Yogscast published game, so it's going to be some fun. To give you an idea, I do own 2/3 of this bundle, so I'm going to guess that the other game in that one is Dungeons and Degenerate Gamblers. Easy for me to say, of course, because I do have that game, and that's a lot of fun. I'm going to guess so. Yeah, I'm just going to assume. So this one's a deck builder. I like those. It's roguelike. I like those. It's got a neat kind of, you know, the art style's quite quirky and quite distinctive, but it looks quite straightforward, I would say. It's got good reviews, turn-based. Yeah, Stick an 8 on that. Royal Ritz. All right, moving on. So, Rusty's Retirement. This one I was very interested in until I noticed something about it. A relaxing idle farming simulator that sits at the bottom of your screen while you do other things. I have a problem with these sorts of games at the moment, and it's only because Ball X Pit has consumed me, and specifically, there is a character who you can basically just use to farm completions. If you're playing it and you don't want to you don't want to spoil it, then I won't say which character, but you unlock a character right near the end who can basically just take up to one more person and go on the runs and just do it by themselves, and you don't have to interact at all. Um, and I could see this game kind of being kind of fun for that, maybe. But at the same time, I'm kind of unsure because like I like more active games, but I've been I've been wrong before, and so I'm going to say 7 because it doesn't quite kind of jump out at me, even though I was expecting it to, just from the keywords they added in at Jingle Jam. Right, next. So this one here, Silence. With every Jingle Jam bundle, you get a spin of the wheel at Fanatical for a redeem code. Now, I did notice on the wheel that it does mention that you could win Metal Gear Solid Delta Special Digital Deluxe Edition, and naturally, I was hoping that would be the one I would win, but I won Silence. Um, and that's fine because actually, Daedalic, I've played one of their games way back when I played The Whispered World, and it was a really good game. One of the voice actors I found strange, but the game itself was very, very good. And it's one of theirs, and you can see here it's actually part of the Whispered World Complete Pack. So I'm even wondering possibly if it's part of the kind of same canon. But in any case, it's okay. You don't have to pay a lot for it right now. That may be why it's a part of a fanatical spin the wheel kind of thing, because it's maybe keys are in kind of free supply. But it looks cute. Like it looks like it's going to be quite kind of chilled out. It's point and click. The soundtrack's apparently very good. The tag here says great soundtrack, so that's encouraging. Yeah, it looks neat. So I'm going to give it. I'm going to say. I'm going to say 8 because I'm a little bit more excited for that than Rusty's Retirement. Right, now what we got? Spiritfall. Right, let's have a look. So, fast-paced action roguelite with combat inspired by platform fighters. Slash, smash, launch, and wall splat a multitude of enemies using an ever-changing arsenal of divine powers. It seems kind of cool. It looks like it looks like it's a very cool game. What I will say is it does look like the kind of game that I would be very, very bad at, and it might make me cross. It looks Dead Cellsy. Now, I really like Dead Cells, but I'm rubbish at it. So, I'm going to say for this one, it's going to get a 7 because I'm more excited. I'm more intrigued by it than I am for mouthwashing. But I don't think it's going to be one that I'm going to bounce off. It might be one I bounce off and kind of try and enjoy. Tactical Breach Wizards. Now, I love this dev, and I'll show you the other games they've done. Suspicious Developments are also responsible for. Yeah, you can see I've got everything. So let's just have a look here. So I've got all 4 of their games now. And actually, Tactical Breach Wizards, I mentioned in my plugin video that I already had one of these. Become Charity with a pair of purple hearts. Hello, Become Charity. I am literally just doing a short video with a live stream just to get my kind of my toes dipped in the water, and also to then put this straight up on YouTube and potentially use it to plug and get people kind of interested in the Jingle Jam bundle. So what I'm doing is I'm basically going through every game, and I'm talking like, how excited am I to play it? Because I was going to rank them, but then I just decided score out of 10 is easier. So once I've done them all, I'm going to run down the ones that I'm most likely to play. So then people know if they're going to watch me play on stream during these 2 weeks. If I'm playing Jingle Jam games, they can probably take a guess at the kind of ones I'm going to be playing. So yeah, this developer, Suspicious Developments, made Gunpoint, and I love Gunpoint. It's noir, it's stealth, it's puzzly, it's it's like clever, and it makes you feel clever when you solve it, even if you balls up the stealth and have to kind of resort to violence. Heat Signature is one of those games I've really want to play more of because when I played it, I absolutely loved it. Morphblade, I don't think I've ever actually played, but it's there. I seem to have acquired it somewhere along the line, possibly bundles. And then Tactical Breach Wizards is their most recent release, I believe. And it's a neat looking game. It's a squad based, turn based shooter, turn based strategy and shooter game. I have played the tutorial quest on Steam Deck, and I think, if I remember correctly, the reason I haven't played more of it is because it didn't quite land for me on Steam Deck when I played it with the kind of Steam Deck default controls. And so I basically said to myself, but even before Jingle Jam, I will play this on a proper computer at some point in the future. And it's just such a neat idea. Like a squad based shooter with wizards as like army men. It's just, I really just envy the imagination of some developers and people who can kind of just summon up these ideas and just turn it into something tangible. I'm always like in awe of that, just the sheer um, creativity of it, I guess. Anyway, so let's see score on this one. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 9 because actually this probably is up there for me with like Old World, slightly more than like Royal Ritten's and Hinterberg. Tempted to go back and readjust Hinterberg, but then it's first impressions, right? So, if I went back and adjusted them every time, I would defeat the point. Plus, also, there's going to be, at the end of Jingle Jam, I plan to, towards the end, maybe not right at the end, I will come back and kind of reevaluate all the ones I've played and just tell you like how they lined up with my predictions. So I'm going to keep these notes handy. Tower Unite. So I knew nothing about this one coming in, and I redeemed it, and then it looks like an arcade, and suddenly I'm intrigued. Community-based virtual world party game. Okay, that looks like. Ah, okay, interesting. It looks a little bit like. Um, this is going to sound like a strange connection, but bear with me. Like a more expansive, but technically less accomplished No Man's Sky space stations. Because you've got loads of different stuff going on, but it's of that sort of ilk where everybody comes together to then interact in a sort of communal space. I'm actually kind of more positive on that than I expected to be. With that said, am I more excited about it than, say, Dungeons of Hinterberg? No, I'm not. I think it's getting a 7. It looks cool, and it looks a bit like what PlayStation Home was trying to do and didn't land. But I mean, yeah, I'll give it a go. It looks pretty neat. Um, yeah, yeah, bizarre. I'm kind of really intrigued by that. Oh, it's got a casino. Right, yeah, sign me up. Uh, right. Train Sim World. Is it wrong that I was one of the most excited possible I could be when I found out this one was going in? And there's two reasons for this. One, it looks exactly like my sort of relaxation game. Just like the kind of load it up, don't overthink it, don't barely think at all. And the other reason is because the developer Dovetail is down the road from me. It's like two towns over, because they're in the Medway Towns, which is near me. Um, so yeah, I'm very excited, and it's got Thomas the Tank Engine DLC. I mean, what's not to like, honestly? Um, yeah, and also you get some DLC with it. So let me just head back to the library, and I'll show you the Jingle Jam DLC. Here we go. So the LGV Méditerranée, Marseille to Avignon. The MBTA commuter Boston to Framingham / Worcester. The MBTA Providence to Stoughton Line HSP 46. and the Holiday Express Runaway Elf, which I think most people will actually probably want to play for fun. I'm intrigued to know what's in the default set because it better be the route that takes you through the town where this game is developed. Because if not, what are you playing at, Dovetail? I mean, really? Well, anyway, so for this one, hype 9 straight away. Because I've always been curious about this series, and now I have one. Ho ho ho. Warhammer 40,000 Chaos Gate Demon Hunters. Now, this is one that I did have in my library, and I have had for some time. And I sort of wish I'd noticed it earlier, because when I look at it, it reminds me of, and this is another 40,000 game, it reminds me of XCOM. It reminds me a little bit of Battle Sector, which is another one of their Warhammer 40,000 games. It's got plenty of DLC if I like it. And it just looks, it's turn-based tactics and turn-based strategy, and it's 40k. Like, these are all things that these are either things I'm into or things I'm happy to jump into. Like 40k, I tried to get into the lore of it a couple of years ago. It's fun, but it's nonsense. But I see why people get into it, especially if they're teenagers and they get into it when they're teenagers. It's very like teenager-friendly lore because it's nonsense, but it's also like brutally awesome. I'm going to say for this one, see, I've done quite a lot of 8s, but I'm going to stick at 8 because otherwise it's no point in having a scale, isn't it? Notice so far there is not a single game that is below a 6. There's nothing that I'm not interested to play at all. So I'm quite pleased with how this has turned out. Finally, one of the ones that I didn't know I wanted until I saw it. Wild Bastards. So, this is from the developer, I believe, of, well, let's find out. I'm pretty sure it's, the spiritual successor to the award-winning Void Bastards. And this is a roguelike strategy shooter with heart-pounding FPS action, mod management, and a tactical campaign. This one, I played a bit of Void Bastards, and I liked it a lot. It was one of those that I was trying a bunch of different games, and I obviously found something in that mix that I liked better. And so I didn't go into it like, I didn't give it enough time, I think it's fair to say. So now I'm actually quite happy that Wild Bastards has turned up in the bundle, because now I can give it a go and try and find out if I am kind of in the, am I spiritually a bastard? As opposed to just literally, which is the answer is emphatically yes. So let's have a look and break these down. So let's head back to the library, where I have basically just very helpfully kind of put everything in kind of a Jingle Jam folder. Here, look. So this is the list. This is 35. This is what £35 gets you on Jingle Jam 2025. I think you'll agree. It's really like a strong selection of games. Now let's look at the ones I'm basically saying I'm going to be most excited about. And I think this does, looking at the list again, this bears out fully. Core Keeper, big tick. So expect to see that one played at least once over the next 2 weeks. Rogue Waters, see above. Pirates, turn-based strategy. I will play some Wild Bastards, I think. I'm just kind of doing this I'll do like a top 5 most likely to see on stream kind of list. So you're talking Core Keeper, you're talking Rogue Waters, you're 100% talking about Train Sim Worlds. 6, you're talking Wild Bastards, the Duran Duran song with the gloves off. And what else are you talking? One more that I think will get played at least once during these 2 weeks minimum. I'm going to try, I mean, for full disclosure, I'm going to try and play as many of them as I possibly can, right? But this is the list of the games available, and I think of those, let's see. Old World seems like a lock. Yeah. I might do some Old Worlds. Oh. I've written Wild Bastards twice. So 6 I've written down that are more likely to get played. Right, here's the list. Core Keeper, yes, 100%. Rogue Waters, yes, absolutely. Wild Bastards, absolutely. Train Sim World 6, sure, 100%. I'm going to put that on record now. Tactical Breach Wizards, I think I will play some more of that because I think I enjoyed it enough to give it another go. And then the old world, yeah, I think I will. Now, whether it makes so there's always two questions, aren't there, when you look at stream games or you look at games? Will they be a fun game, and will they make a good stream game? And the answer to the two questions is not always yes for both. So I have some theories. I think that Old World will be a really fun game that will make for a very tedious stream unless I'm very engaging or very interactive. Luckily for you lot, I absolutely am. So I think that's going to do it. Just like I said, I wanted to get a quick stream in the books just so I could say I'm up and running. Here's the first, and I thought, what better way to do that than just by going through the list and you know going through the full kind of package. So that's your 35 quid. So Core Keeper, Rogue Waters, Wild Bastards, Train Sim World 6, Tactical Breach Wizard, and Old World are all getting at least one playthrough on stream. I'm going to try and get through as many of the 16 as I can. Where can I know what you're thinking. Rob, this all sounds brilliant. You sound brilliant. Where can I find out all about this game? Where can I find out? Where can I see these games played by a master of community engagement? Well, good news. I have just the place for you. It's twitch.tv/RobWadeVision or RobWadeVision on YouTube. And that is the place where you can go and you can watch the master of disaster, the shambles that is amiable, um, other things that make me sound disorganized but sort of affable, which is, about right gimmick wise. And I think I'll probably throw in the Terminator stream in there as well during those 2 weeks, just because I love that game. I'm really enjoying it. Terminator Resistance is a unbelievably good game compared to my expectations. So I'm gonna kind of try and get 6 of the bundle games played on stream, and I'm gonna try and get a Terminator stream in, minimum one. Will I dust off the WWE thing and let John Cena finally have his chance at Roman Reigns' Universal Championship? Who's to say? It really depends on what I feel like doing. But that's going to have to wait for another day, stream fans. The important thing is there's a QR code in the bottom left corner of the screen here. There is a link everywhere I've put socials up. Happy days. Honestly, Core Keeper is amazing. I'm pleased to hear it because I'm, like I say, I knew when I saw it, I was like, I want to get that game. And the only reason I didn't get it was just because I had too many games like that on the go. I've got Dome Keeper, I've got War World, I've got Stardew Valley, which is looks very similar. It's got those kind of vibes. And there's only so much time in the day, and you don't always get to play the games that you want to play. But this is what better way? A time box in which there is an incentive to play a game like Core Keeper, a game like Train Sim World, where I have not just the starter set, I have some stuff to play with, I have some game to play. Tactical Breach Wizards, another opportunity to go back and have a look at a game that I think has tremendous potential. Rogue Waters, Pirates, turn-based, what more do you want? These are all things that you can see in the next couple of weeks by visiting twitch.tv/RobWadeVision, RobWadeVision on YouTube, where I will be sharing everything from Jingle Jam that is possible to share that doesn't go horribly wrong in terms of audio, like the WWE stream did, where all the menu music got censored out of all the things. Like all the entrance themes, I thought it was that, but it wasn't. But anyway, you may see Roman Reigns get dethroned by the greatest of all time as he won the Royal Rumble in the last Become stream. But that's going to have to wait for another day. The important thing is, visionaries and stream fans, uh, stay tuned to Rob Wade Vision for the next couple of weeks and beyond, because obviously it's not just Jingle Jam. I'm here lots, and you should watch. But it remains for me to do my usual gratitude in a world where you have all the possible media that has ever been published or will be published at your fingertips. The fact that you have chosen to spend, at this count, 30 plus minutes with this doddering, gibbering fool is something I can only be eternally grateful for. I wish you good health and good wealth and good happiness, and see you next.